Hi guys, I'm Bryce, Callan's husband, and we're gonna go through making a manual machine. And this is a pretty simple setup. And the reason I chose this one, in this design in particular, is because it doesn't have the giant outriggers on it. Because if you tip this over and you've got your outriggers on it, it's gonna bend your rear wheel. But with this one, you can have a nice big fancy blue bike. You can fit it in there, but if you go up and you tip over, the whole thing is going to go with you. So it's going to teach you right on the trail. So that's why I chose this one. The other ones that have outriggers, if you imagine going up, when this is solid, it's going to try and torque on your wheel, and that's why I designed them this way. Also, this only needs one board and a whole bunch of cuts and some screws, and you're good to go. So with that, we're going to get started. And so we're going to start with some handy dandy instructions that I've come up with. We'll see if I can follow them. You're going to start with some safety glasses, of course, because everybody's got to be safe. Square if you're going to use like a handheld circular saw, but we'll see. And then tape measure, pencil, drill, and some 3.5-inch long deck screws. And then got skill saw, which we can use if we're going to make some nice straight lines, and that's all you got. I'm going to use my nice big saw because heck of a lot easier. And then, of course, we've got to pick out our handy dandy board. This is a 2x6 that's 12 feet long. So you go pick out your favorite one, and at this point you might want to paint it if you want it colored. Otherwise, I just got some brown pressure treated, which is going to look super nice too. So first thing we're going to do is cut it up into manageable pieces. So we're going to cut at, let's see here, 51 and 96.5 inches. And this gives you a little bit of wiggle room for if you screw up a cut. So now we've got some manageable pieces. This is going to be our base, so we can take that and put it off to the side. We're going to have the middle one, which is going to give you the two supports for the side. And this guy, which is going to get chopped up into about 7 or 8 pieces for the little one. So now we're going to cut this board into a bunch of pieces. So there we go. So in the interest of saving the force a little bit, and the reason we're able to make this out of a 2x12, or 2x6, sorry, that's 12 feet long, is because of this part. So I'm going to cut this at angles, and we're going to get some details on this so you can see what's going on. But these are the two supports that have 45-degree cuts in them. So come on in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this 45 degrees, as close to the corner as we can. And then on the long side here, we're going to cut 25 inches. So I mark that out. And we're going to cut it the opposite way. So this one goes this way, so we're going to cut this one this way. And then this is the tricky part, or the sneaky part if you know. We're going to place our two pieces so that they're nice and square. We're going to line up the edge here, and then we make a nice little mark along here. So now we have two copies, and we've got a nice line on here, and So with that, that is literally all the waste we have. So here's all the parts that we've cut up. We've got our supports, we've got our little brace for the back if you need it. This is going to be optional when I make that one. We've got our backboard here, which is going to be where the tire sits, and this is the front bit, which sits with the front of your tire in there. I lost my tape measure. Oh. Every construction project has about 30 times you gotta look for your tape measure, so I'll forget it on my hip right away here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna measure 18 inches from the end to here. This is what's gonna hold you up when you go backwards. So measure 18. So now we've got that guy in, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have, so supports on one side are going to sit right flush with the edge, and on the other side, yeah, right flush on there, and on the other side, it's going to be adjustable to how wide your tire is. So what we're going to do today is we're going to design for a 2.3 to 2.4 tire. If you need to go to 2.5, 2.7, something wider, you just have to make the gap in the middle a little wider. But we're going to do it for a 2.4 kind of size tire. So what we're going to do first, we're going to make sure that we've got nice contact with the top and bottom. Just so that things sit nice and square. And we only put one screw in the bottom. And over here, as things move around, you're going to have to put another one in. So we're going to put it again on the bottom here, so towards here, so that the screw doesn't punch through the wood up here. You can see that. So now we've got a nice flush edge on here and a nice flush edge on here, so that everything is squared up. And so for the tires for 2.4s, 2.3s, I'm finding that 2 1/4 inches works really well. So we're gonna make our 2 1/4. Two and a quarter. And line up our brace like that. Again, we're only putting one screw in right now because things might have to move around, so we'll see how this works out. I'll just do a double check on here. 2 1/4, 2 1/4. Check on the inside. 2 1/4. Yeah, it's a little bit off. So that's the reason I did this. Now a little quick check. 2 1/4. Yeah, that's pretty good. And our next one is going to be the front wheel chock here. So that's the part that's going to sit just like this. So that's the little part that holds the front of the wheel right here. And we're doing it for 29-inch wheels, which will work for 27.5 as well. Haven't tried it with 26-inch wheels because don't have one of those bikes anymore. But we'll assemble that and we'll show you that part. So it's the same thing. On the one side that you make flush, you're going to have to make it flush. And then this one, you can see here, this one's going to move in and out depending on where you line it up with your tire. So you're going to want these to be the same width. So same thing on this one, we're going to go 2 1/4 away. So we're going to make the mark there as well. Oh no! That's okay. Lost my pencil, but we'll use a screw for this. Make one mark at the top. One mark on the bottom. So we do double check. Good there. So you can see how it's offset to one side. So this is the one that can move alongside this way, so that if you have a wider tire, you go this way. If you have a narrow tire, you go this way. So now we're going to do a bit of a custom fit. So we're going to use Callan's bike. She's got 2.4-inch wide tires, or 2.4 wide tires. So that's what we've set this up for. So everything should fit nice and snug. This guy first. So that's nice and snug in there. So now we're going to put the wheel chock on the front. You can use a hammer instead of your hand, it probably works a little nicer. But we're going to make it so it's nice and snug in here. It's going to be pressing on the tire because you don't want this moving around a bunch in here. So this is going to be our nice point. So we're going to have our mark there. I'm going to take a pencil line just across the front here so I know where to do it. I'm going to disassemble everything now and put it back together and put all the screws in. So once again, because we've got this side nice and flush on here, just like on here, and this is our side, it's only got one way to go. So we're gonna line that sucker up, and we're just tagging things in right now. You notice I haven't put all the screws in yet. I haven't finalized that because we're just trying to get things, make sure everything fits. So I come to my line. I can show you guys that there. So make sure everything's nice and flush on there. Come up to our line right here, and that should be good there. So on this one, you have to do a little bit of wiggling here to make sure that this lines up here so that when you put your tire in, this doesn't jam on here. You want to make sure these are nice and square up. So you can see this one moves a little bit, and this one moves a little bit now. So I can line those up. There we go. We got a custom fit manual machine. Pretty simple. Again, I don't have the cross brace on the back here, but we're going to do that now. And this is just in case you do want that bit of stability. Again, I find it much nicer to have this so that when this rocks around, it also lets you know if you're balanced, if you're pulling up straight, if you're pulling up sideways on your bike. The only other thing is on here is, so these are pretty solid. The only thing is if you do want a little stability in the back, that's what these little tiny pieces are for that I cut up. I don't use these. I find once you do about 2 or 3 attempts on the machine, you don't need them. You realize that they're actually just crutches or training wheels. There you go, a bike reference. So these are sitting down here like this. They give you just a little bit more width on this, you can see. So I'll manufacture those and then you guys can decide if you want them or not. They're easy to put on and take off. So this one, same thing. I'm just gonna run it up right to the edges. Nothing really complicated. Yeah, just kind of put a couple screws through. I might add that you want to put them at an angle because the screws are longer than the boards. And if you put it at an angle, it doesn't punch through. If you put it straight through, you end up with the screw coming through on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. So, did that one on purpose. You don't need to get overkill with the screws on these. These literally just give you a little bit extra support. And then once I put these on, I'll put the rest of the screws to finish it off. And then, yeah, just the final screws here. So, again, got one across here. I'll put one up here. You really don't need to get overkill with this. This is literally just to give you a little stability and training. Yeah, and that's it. Everything right there. There you go. You can see that Barnaby fits really nicely in there. I think it's called Barnaby, right? Yeah, this is Barnaby. So yeah, there you go. Fits nice and snug in there. Again, you can go up. The little brace on the back does a little bit, but it still lets you rock and roll on there, so you're not going to torque on your nice rims there. Yeah, that's it. That's how she's done.
Yes.
Oh, already.
You're gonna have to cut that out. Still running.